Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday and welcome back to the Morgan Monroe State Forest. We are out here again today to do another live POTA activation. I started to say POTA on the air activation. Yeah, it's all on air, right? So, but we are out here today. Man, I'll tell you what, it is chilly. And one of the things I don't like to do is run the vehicle when I'm live streaming or well, more so actually when I'm operating because of the electrical interference. And I do run the radio and everything on a separate external battery, so it's not tied into the vehicle. But man, I tell you, it makes some noise so every once in a while. So I've tried, and I don't know how people do it. I work people all the time that are mobile, and I do not know how anybody can work HF while they're driving. And maybe I'm not grounding my stuff well or what, but oh golly, it is a noisy proposition nonetheless. Now it doesn't help. I'm in a Ford Bronco, so removable top or removable roof, removable doors. And so this is not as soundproofed as a vehicle that has a fixed roof and fixed doors. And although I do have a hard top, so I've got one of the composite tops, one of the infamous Ford Bronco composite tops, although mine got held up in production because of the roof issues. So I don't actually have one of the ones that they had to recall and redo, which if anybody had followed along with that saga on the Broncos, and that was an interesting time. There was a lot of people that had ordered hard tops, and at that point, that first go around, that was all basically not, well, I guess they're technically direct orders. I mean, you were doing it through a dealer, but you were ordering your Bronco. They were built to order, and there was very few Broncos that were available. Just that were actually ordered by a dealership to sell on the lot. There were some that people had gave up on their order and moved on. I mean, I was obviously during COVID, and there was enough other stuff going on and people trying to find vehicles. So, they moved on to a different vehicle, and that did give dealers some opportunity to sell those things at a considerable markup, because I think everybody like myself, that price got locked in, and that was not, there was no dealer love on top of it, not a premium or anything like that. So, all right. Well, I see there's a few people in the chat already. So Steve Mendy Steve Mindy, God, I'm getting old. 5253, good morning. Oh, God, sorry about that. Kilo Echo 8, Victor Charlie Bravo from Ohio. Nate's out there in the chat this morning. And Whiskey Zero, Uniform, Oscar Juliet, good morning. POTA Boy is out there. It looks like POTA Boy is looking for another park to go hit and do a live stream from. By the way, guys, there's in POTA Boy, I'm sorry, I forgot the name of it, but POTA Boy and a couple others have done something similar to what we're doing with the kids table and the clubhouse. Guys are getting together once a week and doing a live stream to talk about outdoor activity, ham radio, stuff like that. So POTA Boy, do me a favor, drop a link to that channel in the in there. We'll get that done. And also, if you don't get POTA Boy's handle, or I'm sorry, his call sign into Ham Alert, Kilo Delta 8 Lima Hotel Romeo, and make sure you try to work him whenever you can when he's out doing a POTA. Totus, whew, I'm having a tough time talking this morning. And Tortoise Land, you're absolutely right. Need more coffee. So, Cooley, good morning. We're going to try once again 40 meters this morning, and actually I'm looking at doing an AM activation. So, Cooley, hopefully we can make a contact there. Good morning, David. Good morning from South Carolina. I'm assuming it's going to be a little bit warmer there than it is here. It's like 38 degrees right now, and kind of yucky out there. Kilo Charlie 2, Telephone Echo Lima, Telephone Echo Lima, checking in from New Jersey this morning. Chris checking in from way up north, and he said there's a bit of snow on the ground today, and I'm not looking forward to that. If you guys were on the after chat last night with Josh, I think Mike N8YO mentioned that there was already snow there in Michigan where he's at, and he's like in middle Michigan, so in that same kind of latitude there around Detroit. So I don't think he's in Detroit, but he's in that same kind of latitude there. So already snow on the ground up there, and definitely not looking forward to that. And then Robert says no to snow, and I agree with you there, buddy. I am here in Indiana, and I like it here. Indiana's a nice state. I'm in a small rural community that is pretty nice. We don't have a crime issue and things like that. You get some of that typical tweaker, meth head kind of crimes, but it's not like that. It's just a hardworking, fun community to live in, and I'm glad I'm here, and I'm glad I can raise my kids in an environment like this where they focus on education and not all the social shit of the day. But I do not like the weather, and I actually lived in this area when I joined the Navy, and the whole time I was gone, other than my initial going to Great Lakes for boot camp, which was in the summertime, so it was ungodly hot already. I did spend a little over a year going to school up there at not at the recruit training command, but over at the school command, and that was just like it was here until the cold hit, and we lived basically. There was the waterfront, the lakefront. There was a row of buildings which were like 2 or 3 stories high, and that's the school where the schools were for what I was in, and then on the back side of that was where our barracks was. So we were not too far from the waterfront, and it was quite windy and quite cold. Kilo Echo Zero, Mike Alpha Delta checking in. Good morning, everybody. Nate says, snow has arrived. Time to pack up and head south. And you're absolutely right. I tell you, I still have 2 school-aged kids, and I am here for that duration until they get through college. One of the benefits that the Indiana Department of Veterans Affairs provides is free education to your kids if you are a disabled veteran. And now that amount will vary depending on the era, and that's what they refer to as the era that you were in. So I was in the tail end of the Vietnam era going forward, first Gulf War. So there's one kind of set of, what they would cover as far as that. The guys that were younger, the global war on terrorism has a different kind of perspective. For those guys, I believe the amount that they cover for your kids is equal to the percentage rating of your disability. So if you've, but I don't know a whole lot about it. So I less from what I hear. So like 50%, if you're service connected disabled, 50%, they'll cover 50% of your kids' tuition, and that's in the state of Indiana. So it's Indiana University. Go Hoosiers! I think they're now 10-0 football, which is phenomenal. Purdue, Ball State University, and there's a handful of other 2-year schools too that they cover. And then in my era, it's 100% if you're service connected disabled. So there's a benefit for me staying here in Indiana. Actually, there's a benefit for my kids. So staying here in Indiana and making sure that they get a good education, whether it's Indiana University with business or health or informatics or something like that, or up at Purdue if they want to be an engineer. Purdue is the way to go. And let's see here. Robert says it's snowing in Milwaukee. Never any fun. Don't like that snow. And just looking around this morning, it's kind of yucky. Driving over here today, and I'll just bounce around the outside here. So it's obviously it's hunting season here in Indiana right now, deer season, and I'm not sure if if it's deer or turkey right now. So driving over here on the state road, every kind of pull off spot goes through. There's the antenna cam. I actually, when I came through here, there we go. So that's the view out of the front of the Bronco today. So the state road that's behind me, which used to be the main drag between Indianapolis and Bloomington, goes right through the state forest. So there's pull offs on both sides of the 2-lane highway that right now are fire roads and stuff like that, and those were full coming down here with hunters. So good for them. I'm glad I live here. We got about 20, I think it's 20,000 acres around here, and for the most part, everything in the state forest is open for hunting in season. And the only exception to that is there's a safety zone that's around the camp office. So there's the office, and then there's the actual structured campgrounds. There's the Scout Ridge Nature Preserve over there, and I'll activate a lot from there too, which is a twofer in this point, but no real good internet. So doing that. Whiskey 4 Oscar Golf Whiskey checking in this morning from Virginia. Teddy checking in. Whiskey Alpha 4 Tango Echo Delta checking in. Steve here, 0 0 Zulu Sierra 6 Sierra Hotel November, checking in from South Africa this morning. Guess that makes us officially international now. So, all right. Well, if I missed anybody, I do apologize. Oh, there's Jason checking in. Good morning, Jason. But so what I wanted to do was kind of talk about some of the other activation modes, or not activation modes, but other modes of that we can use as amateur radio operators. And one of them was AM. And if you watched last week's stream, you saw this, and people got upset that I was activating sideband in the fictitious AM window. And I'm not going to necessarily get into the whole thing about the ARRL band plan. Understand that is a guide. That is not the FCC rules. That was something that was proposed many years ago, back in I think the 30s, and the quote unquote AM window was a frequency that was utilized back in the days when you had crystals. You didn't have a VFO that you could shift around. You had to use fixed frequencies for your VFO, and that's where the crystals came in to generate that oscillator. So 7290 kind of became a standard frequency for AM. With that being said, unless you're using a true boat anchor with crystals, you can move anywhere. There are emissions types, and in there, whether it's AM, if it's sideband, if it's double sideband with suppressed carrier, there's several of them that you can use, and those, whatever is defined by Part 97, is acceptable emissions type. You can use anywhere in the phone portion. Phone being that you're putting a voice, you're putting modulation or deviation on top of a carrier, or in the case of sideband, a suppressed carrier, and you're only using one of the two sidebands compared to AM. So what I'm proposing here is utilizing some of these other modes that we don't normally do. Now, I will caveat this all day long, making sure that you be careful, right? And that you want to, especially with AM, you're double the width now. So you've got your carrier, and you've got 3K, 3 to 4K actually, sidebands running at actually as wide as 6, depending on the age of the transmitter. Once again, you have to make sure that you're operating properly. So, for example, we see this in radio a lot, where somebody will be on the lower edge of the band, like 7.175, and that's lower sideband, and they only have a general. All of their sideband is now on the lower side of that carrier frequency, which means their actual transmission is out of their band. So you have to be careful that you're operating properly. Sorry about that, POTA boy. Nightbot gotcha. But yeah, so making sure that you're operating properly and doing that. Um, but we need to utilize some of these different things. Also, making sure that you're doing it at the appropriate time of day. Like I wouldn't jump in and do AM on a contest weekend when um, or just a busy weekend. Yesterday, I guess, was pretty busy. The band was packed. The 20-meter band was packed. I don't know if I'd be dropping in there and doing AM and you know tying up as much. So make sure you do it accordingly. But let's just get out there and start utilizing and encouraging people to fully um, utilize the options that are there. I'm not saying that AM is for everybody or Ready's for everybody or whatever. I mean, we've all got our preferred modes. There's definitely groups of people who uh, do this hobby um, in a sense that it's a hobby of 1,000 hobbies. You hear that all the time, and so some people really enjoy digital. Some people really enjoy uh, just voice. Some really enjoy CW. Some like to do it all, and so. Um, but there are other modes out there, and modes like AM, for example, have kind of gone to the side because of the the width of it. Right, we can cut that down in half and also suppress the carrier, so you don't have the that solid signal out there. I'm not sure. When we call QRZ, and all of a sudden you get a pile up and you hear 27 voices in there. Well, you're only hearing 27 voices in there because of there's no carriers. Nobody has any carriers. That's all suppressed, and that's just pure modulation that's out there. So it's literally like standing at a point in a conference room and saying something, and or at a news conference, and you make a statement, and then all of a sudden you get 18 reporters, shouting out, and obviously you hear all the people. Some stand out, some don't. So there's definite advantages for sideband, but just because we've used sideband today doesn't mean that that is the only mode out there. And once again, I encourage you to take uh, take advantage of all of the emissions types that are out there that your radios have. I mean, there's a just about every modern radio, at least from the big manufacturers, all have AM included in there. Um, so 26 Sierra Oscar Uniform 01. Actually, I think he said he was checking in from the UK. Says he loves sideband contacts, but he enjoys remotely controlling his PC and doing FT8. And that I absolutely agree. I kind of do the same thing. I'll uh, fire up my smart SDR client, and I can run the um, FT8 client in there. I don't have to have the uh, the WSJTX or one of the other ones, and I can do all that from inside the client. The other nice thing, and to that point, whether I'm doing it from there, in my shack, or doing it remote, a lot of times I'll just sit in the library at the house and hang out with my wife and talk. And while we're talking, I'm making FT8 contacts. I don't have to hear the noise or anything. And I'm making FT8 contacts while we're sitting here talking. So, um, Eric does say that you can hear multiple stations even with a carrier. That is true. That is true. It just depends on how far you are away. But sideband, by suppressing that carrier, definitely takes out on that. Jason Lockwood's talking about 2 meter is cool too. 2 meter AM, and now that is something that you don't see very often. Is radios, and if it's a specific UHF VHF radio, very rarely do you see any of the other modes in there besides FM. At least from a transmission standpoint, you might see uh, the ability like HTs here. So these HTs, I think these have some have airband in them, so that's AM. So they have the ability to receive AM, not necessarily transmit on AM. And yeah, Jason, 991A. So the Yaesu 991A is one that has AM, and you can have the 2 meter and the 70 centimeter. ICOM has, they typically refer to those as shack in the box type radios, all mode, all band. I don't know if, I'm trying to think when the last one, and there may be, I think the 991A, and might be another one that has it in there too, as far as newer radios. Most of that though, like I've got a 897, a Yaesu 897D was my first HF radio that I bought. I bought it used, and it was all mode, all band, and not really. I haven't heard too many AM stations, but you could do 2 meter sideband with it, which is kind of cool. And there's a whole another group of people that do that. So have you ever thought about nearly been talked into being a ham Santa? I have not. The gray beard obviously is something in the last couple of years as I'm getting older. But if you do kind of dig around, I'm part of the Bronco community, and so I have another channel. It's Overlanding for Fun. I haven't done much on there lately in the last year or so, but I created a kind of a side persona. People started calling me Bronco Santa, and so I had a little side persona there called Bronco Santa. So so there you go. So I've kind of done that. I'm not as fat as I used to be, so so there you go. So Chris mentions the IC 7100 and the IC 705. So you're right. I forgot about that. I forgot about those. I've got a 705, and it does all that. So there we go. Eric, I think at some point I want to get you on the kids table if we could. It'd be interesting to talk about some of the differences. And oh, by the way, 2.4 gigahertz sideband today, or earlier today that Eric said he worked. Somebody in Togo, kind of the what amateur radio is like here in the United States, and then what it's like overseas. I think is kind of interesting. If you guys don't know, Eric does live overseas, and so he's got a local license from the area that he's in, which is kind of neat. And Bill says, side persona, mask, cape, layer, we're all set. Yeah, and Steve says he's really enjoying the reg chew. That is interesting. That is something that we don't get a chance to do a lot. I don't write you on the radio. I do really like to just get in and get out. But So let's get on the radio and see what we can do. Oh, and real quick, do you guys? This is gonna be like the. It's gonna be like going to the eye doctor here. Do you like option 1? Do you like option 2? Do you like option 3? Or do you like option 4? So put it in the chat here. Option 1, option 2, option 3, or option 4. And this is the one I normally do, is option 4. And I okay, that did take over. I can shift these panes around too. So I guess there's 5. We can do 5 too, but I think that blocks the log there. So I would prefer not to have them on top of each other. Well, I'm seeing a lot of 1s and some 4s and a couple 2s. Let's swap that around there. There we go. Let's just run with this today, see how it pans out, and go from there. And I knew that was happening. I was operating FT8 last night. Once again, if I had a good producer, they would have had that camera switched around. It does sound like there's somebody in there. Yeah. So that's interesting there. I don't know if you guys saw the power out. Supposedly it's 25 watts on AM. It also says 7.285. Let's see, that is. Is the frequency in use? November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot. I'm typing AM activation in there. I'm sure somebody will be outside band. Is the frequency in use? November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot. Is that frequency in use? November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot. All right, well, let's give it a try. CQ Parks on the air. CQ Parks on the air. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air for an AM activation from US 4215. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by.
November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot, Kilo Echo 9 Alpha Juliet. Kilo Echo 9 Alpha Juliet, over.
Kilo Echo 9 Alpha Juliet. Joe, good morning. You are 5'9", 59 in the park this morning.
Yeah, QSL, you're right at my noise level. You're right at my noise level, and I'm watching you there on your YouTube. I'm going to give you about a 4x3 here in Illinois, central Illinois. Name is Joe, Juliet Ocean Echo. Thanks a lot for the activation. Certainly appreciate it. Back to you.
All right, Joe, good morning. And I copied the 4-3 from central Illinois, my friend. Thank you for the contact today in 73. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot, QRZ. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air for an AM activation from US 4215 and standing by. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air for an AM activation from US 4215 and standing by.
Boy, it's a bummer. I wish I could hear you, Tim. I see your carrier, but I just can't hear no audio. Kilo Echo 0 Mike Alpha Delta. Maybe another time.
All right, Kilo Echo 0 Mike Alpha Delta. I hear you there, buddy. You are coming in 5-9 if you can catch that on the live stream. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by.
Thank you very much, Tim.
CQ Parks on the air, CQ Parks on the air. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air for an AM activation from US 4215 and standing by. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. This might be a fruitless thing, and that's fine. I'll give it a few more minutes, and I'll switch over to sideband. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215 on AM. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. Bill, off the top of my head, I do not know what the power limit is for AM. CQ Parks on the air, CQ Parks on the air. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air for an AM activation from US 4215, the Morgan Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by.
Kilo 0 Whiskey Hotel Whiskey. Kilo 0 Whiskey Hotel Whiskey.
Kilo 0 Whiskey Hotel Whiskey. Bill, good morning. You are 55 this morning.
A lot of fading here, Tim. That's why we call the 5-5. I got to give you a 4-5.
I copied the 4-5. Are you in South Carolina this morning? Kilo 0 Whiskey Hotel Whiskey. Bill, good morning. Are you 4-5? Are you in South Carolina? All right, nothing heard. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot, QRZ. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. CQ Parks on the air, CQ Parks on the air. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. All right. Yeah, I didn't want to do that. What am I doing? CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. I have officially switched back over to sideband now. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by.
Whiskey 9, Juliet Charlie Romeo. X-ray Quebec.
The Whiskey 9 station.
Whiskey 9, Juliet Charlie Romeo. Got you 5-9 into India Lima, Tim.
Whiskey 9, Juliet Charlie Romeo. I copied the 5-9 into Illinois, my friend. You're also 5-9 in the park today.
Thank you, sir. Good to get you on the air. Good luck today, 73.
All right, 73, my friend. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot, yours, Ed.
Kilo India 5, Oscar X-ray Quebec.
Kilo India 5, Oscar X-ray Quebec. Curtis, good morning, 5-9.
QSL, you're a 5-9 here in Alfa Romeo.
All right, thank you for Arkansas this morning. Have a great day today in 73.
73.
All right, thank you. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot, yours, Ed.
Kilo Echo 0, Mike Alpha Delta.
Kilo Echo 0, Mike Alpha Delta. Sean, good morning. You were 5-9.
Yeah, I wish I could have heard you on AM. I can see your carrier, but just couldn't quite pick you out of there. Anyway, Tim, 5-5 in Missouri.
I copied the 5-5. You sounded great. You were 5-9 on AM. What are you running at home?
Yeah, on those Yaesus, you got to crank the AMC to the absolute top to get any modulation at all out of them things. Anyway, thanks, Tim. 73.
All right, 73, my friend. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot, yours, Ed. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. CQ Parks on the air, CQ Parks on the air. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by.
Whiskey 4, Bravo Charlie Alpha.
Whiskey 4, Bravo Charlie Alpha. Jeremy, good morning, 5-1-51. Copy 5-7 into Alabama, my friend. Thank you for the contact today in 73. All right, thank you. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot, yours, Ed. Kilo 0, Whiskey Hotel Whiskey. Bill, 5-9 on a new band. I'm sorry, new mode.
New mode, you're 5-5 down here. Well, 5-5 North Carolina. 73 buttons.
All right, 5-5 into North Carolina, my friend. Have a great day today in 73. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot, yours, Ed. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. Victor Alpha 3 Echo Tango. Don, good morning, 5-1.
November.
I copied the 5-5 into Ontario, my friend. Have a great day today in 73.
73.
All right, thank you. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot, yours, Ed. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. CQ Parks on the air, CQ Parks on the air. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. Kilo Quebec 4, Hotel Zulu Kilo. Aaron, good morning. You were about a 5-2-52. I tell you, I tried getting you about 8 times yesterday while you guys were out roving. Kilo Quebec 4, Hotel Zulu Kilo, 5-2. All right, nothing heard. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot, yours, Ed. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. CQ Parks on the air. CQ Parks on the air. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. CQ POTA. CQ POTA. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. Whiskey 4 Oscar Golf Whiskey. Good morning. 4545. I copied 4-4 into Virginia, my friend. Just validate the call. Whiskey 5 Oscar Golf Whiskey.
Whiskey 4, Oscar Golf Whiskey.
All right, George. Sorry about that. Got the correction in the log, my friend. Thank you for the contact today in 73. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot QRZ. CQ POTA. CQ POTA. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by.
This is Kilo Echo 9 Alpha Sierra Uniform QSL.
Kilo Echo 9 Alpha Sierra Uniform. Abdul, good morning. 5-9.
Good morning. You're a solid 5858 into Northwest Indiana.
Thank you for 5-8 up into the up into the region there, my friend. Have a great day today in 73. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot QRZ. CQ POTA. CQ POTA. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. And that happens sometimes. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215 and standing by. All right, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot going QRT, QRT, QRT. Well, not a big deal. I was just looking at the time there. We're coming up on, looks like 9:53 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And our friends T.O. and Big Jim will be taking over here for Ham Church in a few minutes. So let's go ahead and get it wrapped up. And mark ourselves QRT. So today, 11 Qs in the books for 12 minutes, 16 seconds operating time. What do we get here? So out of the 11 contacts, 8 were here inside the United States. I'm sorry, 10 of them were in the United States. 8 different states represented, and 1 Canadian province. Everything was on 40 meters. 3 of those were AM and 8 on sideband. Uh-oh. Check that. Can't make a contact with myself. All right, so 10 of them. 10 of them. I actually was over here yesterday operating last night after the UTC day, so not a problem. But 10 is the activation. I'd try to do as many as you can. I wouldn't just settle on 10 unless you're doing some kind of a structured row where you need to hit it and get it, but I'd still do a couple extras just to make sure. So 8 US states, 9 contacts altogether, and 1 Canadian contact, 3 on 40, 3 on AM on 40 meters, and 7 to rest on sideband. And this is what the distribution looks like today, with the exception of the outlier here over in Phoenix. I'm assuming Bill was, and I asked South Carolina, but actually North Carolina. So over there. So, once again, 40 meters, ATOS 120, we're going to get 400 or 500 miles out of it in any given time. So not a big deal. Bill says, good experiment and practice, Tim. I recommend, if you've got time to get out, once again, try the different emissions types. in short, I said it earlier, the ARR bell band plan is a suggestion at the end of the day. Should you follow it? Absolutely. There's a kind of an expectation that people are only going to be operating in certain areas, but it does not. Well, and actually, in their guide, the good operator guide, I think is what it is. It clearly states in there, right in the beginning, that this is a suggestion, right? That the no person, group, entity owns any frequency or anything like that, and um, so at the end of the day, get out there, have fun. Don't get caught up and explore your options. Follow the law, the actual law, the FCC rules, and get out there and have fun. That's the big thing in all this is to get out there and have fun. So voice modes. What other voice modes should we try? What we can do? We can do FM. That'd be another one. We'd have to do that on I think 10 meters and up. So which 10 meters is still kind of hot. Although people commented last night in the after chat, and I kind of disagree. Does it seem like the solar cycle is starting to wane? I know we're on the back side of it, but is it dropping? Actually, have we hit the peak yet? One, and is it dropping, or is it just other factors? All the solar activity that's going on. I feel like we've had a lot of solar activity flares that have disrupted the bands. So is that what we're experiencing? So let me know. Let me know in the comments. And if you guys want to try, we could try FM, 10 meter FM, maybe 6 meter FM in here, and go from there. So once again, guys, I appreciate everybody coming on here. I'm gonna get the Ham Church thing here in the chat. Bill, that's a great topic. Conversation about is the band being open versus people getting on and opening the band. That sounds like a good topic for the kids table. So if I haven't pointed it out there, top in the QR code up there, it's got the link to the Ham Radio Kids table every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, whatever that is, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., the 1 a.m. Zulu time. We do the Ham Radio Kids table, where we'll try to bring in guests and talk about some area or topic that the guest is interested in, or just have general roundtable discussions and go from there. So that does sound like a good topic. And Bill, thank you for that. If you want to be part of that, let me know. We can get you on there and we can have that part of that conversation, and you can help be part of it. So everybody, once again, make sure to go check out Ham Church and let them know that the fat guy with the Ham Santa, tell them Ham Santa sent you. But otherwise, everybody have a great week. Enjoy the rest of this weekend, and we will see you Wednesday night on the Ham Radio Kids table. 73.